Oran, I'm sure the message will be more the same as the Motherwell game.
Yeah, it's just nice to be here, and I think that's the key thing for us and for people who've been on our journey on this side. I think as a club, we seized that there was a big option there in the first game against La Florida. As much as they were seeded and we were unseeded, I think we all put ourselves under a lot of pressure to try and get through that game for how big it could be for the club. I think when we get through that, we probably used the Maribor game as a carrot in relation to that it would be a great experience for everybody. Obviously you go there with a game plan and everything else, and credit to the players. I think getting through that game in particular has been brilliant for everybody, and it's brought us now onto this fixture, which is absolutely bonus territory for us.
Well, how would you gauge the standard then between Motherwell, say that you know well, Maribor of course, but is there a gap?
It's hard to know because you can look at statistics like coefficients and all that type of stuff. I think a lot of it's down to also probably the part of Europe that they're from and how football's played in different areas of Europe and everything else. In Great Britain, obviously the game was played a little bit more helter-skelter and a lot faster. They were very patient at times and moved the ball well at times. It's very, very hard to draw probably comparisons from that point of view because of the differences in leagues.
Coleraine made it difficult for Motherwell at Fir Park for an hour despite the scoreline. Does that give you heart that you can do something similar?
Yeah, I've obviously watched the game back, and as you say, I think up until the point of the sending off, Glentoran were well in the game at that point in time. So from our point of view, yes, I suppose we, from them being in the same league as us, it's important that we use that as some type of fuel and motivation to hope that we can go and hit a real good performance as well.
Oran, Stephen touched on the fact that you and him would often travel together when you were bosses in Ireland. I suppose the respect for him is mutual.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I get on great with him, and it's an interesting tie from that point of view. And again, as Stephen has mentioned, we did spend a lot of time together in that point of view, and it was great times that you look back on in relation to those aspects of it. So he was great to me. I think all the Northern Ireland managers when I was over in Scotland were very good to me. Stephen in particular was brilliant, and there's still a big friendship there to this day. So I'm indebted to him, I suppose, in my time over there for the help and the words that he had for me, and I'm sure we'll remain friends for a long time.
Once the whistle goes tomorrow night, though, I suppose friendships momentarily out the window.
Of course it is, and that's football, and even in our own league here, there's a lot of managers, and we all have a big friendship and a big respect as well. But the minute I think the ball goes over the line, we all fight our own corner for that period of time, and I think tomorrow night will be no different. There's a big mutual respect there, but in the same stretch. As a club, we're in uncharted territory, and we've made progress. But I know from speaking on behalf of probably players and everybody else, the last couple of weeks have given everybody a real taste for it, and I don't think they want it to stop. So for us tomorrow night, it's about going out again and making sure that we hit that level that we want to hit, and if we can hit that level, then we give ourselves a chance, and that's all we can ask for.
Well, do you think they'll have league games like what usually happens in the European campaign? Do you think that's helped this year, or would you rather than playing Europa League?
Well, it's false in two ways, because it would be impossible to have league games at this stage, because without COVID, if we'd have played this competition now, this fixture would be probably the 20th of July or something. So, and we would be 3-4 weeks back into training, and very much still trying to get up to speed. COVID for us in this competition has been good. We've been in training since the end of June. We're into probably 13 or 14 weeks now. We've 8-10 games behind us. In my experience as a manager and as a player in the Irish League, we've never been in a better position in relation to fitness and sharpness from that point of view and how it's worked. I think you then add to that as well, and you have to be honest with the COVID thing of it being a one-legged tie. I think it's a big swing for us, and I've no problem in saying that. And we could easily went to Maribor and drew 1-1 out there and come back here and get beat maybe 2 or 3 or whatever else when it maybe refocuses them. I think the one-legged nature and the win at all costs or everything up for grab nature, I think it very much suits the underdog or the unseeded ones as such as well. So it's something that helped us in Maribor, and again, tomorrow night, we all know the game of football. It can take one challenge, one decision, one anything, and the game's flipped on its head. And for us, as I say, number one, we need the performance, and number two, we'll need little things like that to drop our way.
Who's the underdog tomorrow for you?
Pardon?
Who's the underdog?
You serious? Well, I think if you go, like, it's not, that's a crazy question. Us, and I think clearly on statistics, on league, on part-time, full-time, seeded, unseeded, coefficient, finishing third in the Scottish League and everything that goes with it. I think there's very few arguments out there, if I'm being honest, to try and say that we would be favourites for this game. So the Maribor game was exactly the same. And with that, I think that's the joy of football and the reason we're all in football, because stats are stats and facts are facts and everything that goes with it, but games of football are played out there and won and lost out there. So as I say, for us again, I sound like a broken record, and it's been that way with the players this week. It's very much been along the lines of the big demands that we're making of everybody this week is that they go and they hit that same performance level that we got, and concentration, and attitude, and work, and everything that we got in Maribor, and that's, you know, we're looking for that, and if we get that, then hopefully things can happen.
Oran, a lot has been mentioned and made about the lack of supporters at games as well, and I suppose from a club's point of view it is disappointing to have such a high profile game with no supporters in it.
Yeah, it's probably the only COVID thing that probably has gone against us. You know, as I said, the timing of the league, the fact of how our fitness levels at this point in time compared to what they'd be like in July time, the fact that it's one-legged nature as well, the probably only swing on that is the fan aspect of it. And you know, people even said that about Maribor. It maybe helped that it was an empty ground, and sadistically for me, when you look at on YouTube and you look at their fans and the way that everything was out there, I'd have loved to experience that, and you'd have loved to have been a part of that. And I think historically here as a club, you know, I still hear people talking about, you know, Spurs coming here in the 1980s and it being a full house and thousands of people here. And I think with it being such a local tie, I have no doubt Motherwell would have brought a huge amount of fans to it. And I've no doubt we'd have packed the place out as well. And when you look at the stadium, it is one of those stadiums. It's an old school iconic stadium, and for people that haven't been here, when it's packed to the rafters and there's 3,000 or 4,000 in it, it can sound like 15,000 or 20,000, and it's a real electric place to be. So from that point of view, it is disappointing that people won't get to experience it. Just glad obviously that it's been shown on TV.
Sick day in order on Friday if you get through.
Pardon?
Sick day on Friday.
Don't know about that. I've just got straight across there from school. So no, I can't see it. The boss has already been well primed, because if you were, and it would be brilliant, obviously, to go through. Obviously, with everybody already knowing the draw for the next, I think is it Israel or Albania? Israel or Albania. So if you were to get through, obviously you'll be having to ask a very good boss for a bit of time off. So we'll not push too far.
That just highlights the challenges you face tomorrow. Like whole full-time team, you're having to sort of go back into school on the Friday morning.
Yeah, it is, but it's never something we'll ever make an excuse about. And I think being out in Maribor was good for the group and good for us to support, for the players in particular. I think to experience that full-time aspect of it from a preparation point of view. We've been smart about how we've gone about this week as well, and we've got a lot of prep work done this week already that we would have done in Maribor. So we're able to bridge that gap as such, and we're in a good place. We're in a good place, the squad, and there's a good vibe there. I'm glad, to be honest, the Maribor game was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and this game didn't come a week later. I think the euphoria of that and the adrenaline of that, and probably even the energy expended in that game, it's probably taken quite a few of our lads at least 10 or 12 days, probably even to get back into physically training normally because of the expenditure of that night. And then probably mentally as well. I suppose all the praise and everything that received for those 10 or 12 days was nice, but it was nice probably at the start of last week to get that cut off and nearly reset again. We trained well last week. We had a really good competitive game against Linfield on Thursday night, which was a week ago tomorrow, and again that's just probably tuned us in again and brought us back to that level of needle and level of thought where we need to be tomorrow night.
If you did get that victory, the profile of Irish football goes up tenfold, probably gets it for qualifying.
Hopefully, and I think it can only be good for football over here. And you know, it's been well documented. Obviously, Glentoran have gone full time in the last year or so, on the big backers in there. Larne with Kenny Bruce from Purple Bricks has come in there, and it's been phenomenal for me what he's done for the club and his further plans ahead. You know, Linfield I think are making more plans to go that direction of full time as well. So it's absolutely raised the bar of the league. And again, I think the sides in Europe this summer have been brilliant as well in relation to how they've progressed and how they've got on. Glentoran have got through a round, we've been through 2 rounds, Linfield are through a couple of rounds, and again play on Thursday night. So for us as a coefficient, as a country, and everything else, I think it's so important that we do that. But yes, I think nights like a few weeks ago and hopefully nights like tomorrow night can only be good for football in this country.